Welcome back to the deep dive. Today we are performing what feels like an autopsy on a problem that just, you know, eats away at our cognitive bandwidth every single day.
Mm-hmm. It's a constant low-grade hum of stress for so many people.
It is. We're talking about the physical and digital environment you live in. And, usually when people discuss organization, they talk about spring cleaning. They
Right.
talk about buying wicker baskets or my favorite, color coding your bookshelf for Instagram.
Which is exactly what we are not doing today. That's aesthetics, not function.
Right. The research we've pulled for this deep dive is, well, it's completely different. It doesn't view your home as a showroom. It views it as a machine.
An operating system for your life.
An operating system. I like that.
Yeah.
And the premise is terrifyingly simple.
Yeah.
If the machine is clogged, it doesn't run. And if the machine doesn't run, you can't function.
Precisely. The source material is essentially a military-grade system update for your life. It starts with a concept they call the brutal reality of disorder. And it argues that we have a fundamental misunderstanding of why we are messy.
I think I know where this is going. Most of us, myself included, believe it's a space issue. I catch myself saying this all the time. If I just had a bigger office, or...
If I had a walk-in closet,
Exactly. Then I'd be organized.
and the documentation we looked at says that is a lie. A comfortable lie, maybe, but a lie. Disorganization is rarely a lack of space.
So what is it?
It is a lack of decisiveness and a failure of habit.
Wow. That's a heavy opener. A lack of decisiveness. Can you unpack that a bit?
Well, think about what clutter actually is. We tend to see a pile of mail on the counter or, a chair covered in laundry as stuff.
Yeah, it's just a pile of stuff.
But the sources argue that clutter is actually deferred decisions.
Deferred decisions.
That pile of mail exists because you didn't decide, in the moment you picked it up, whether to trash it, file it, or act on it. You put it down. You deferred the decision. The two deadliest words in organization. The laundry is there because you didn't decide to fold it or hang it. Every single physical object that is out of place represents a decision you were too tired or maybe too lazy to make in that moment.
So if we follow that logic, getting organized isn't about moving stuff around. It's not about getting new shelves.
Yeah.
It's about getting better at making rapid-fire decisions.
Exactly. And this leads to the absolute core philosophy of this entire system. Organization is subtraction, not addition.
Which brings us to something you mentioned earlier, the container paradox. I feel like this is where the marketing industry really, really gets us.
Oh, absolutely.
Because when I get that rare urge to organize, my first instinct, my gut reaction is to drive to the container store and buy 10 of those big, clear plastic tubs.
And that is the worst possible thing you can do. It feels productive, but it's a trap.
Why?
The container paradox states that buying bins before you purge is just hoarding with better branding.
Hoarding with better branding. That is a brutal image.
It is, but it's true. You're just building little sarcophagi for your junk. You're giving your clutter a nice, clean plastic home.
So you're not actually dealing with the problem.
You're just hiding it from yourself.
Yeah.
If you haven't subtracted the excess, you aren't organizing. You're just playing Tetris with garbage. You cannot organize clutter. You can only hide it.
So what's the rule then?
The rule from the source is absolute. Purge first, contain later. If you buy a bin before you've thrown things away, you have already failed. The bin is the reward for getting rid of stuff, not the first step.
Okay, so our mission today is to walk through this system update. We're going to unclog the machine. The goal isn't to look perfect for a photo.
No.
It's functional efficiency. We want to build a setup where you are ready to work, ready to rest, and ready to live without all this friction.
Right. And to do that, we have to install the software before we start messing with the hardware. We need to install the core protocols in our brains first.
These sound serious. Core protocols,
Yep.
like the mental laws of physics for this new universe. So where do we start? Protocol 1.
Protocol 1, the touch it once mandate.
Okay, touch it once.
This is, I think, the golden rule of efficiency, and it's where most people bleed what the sources call life equity.
Define life equity for us in this context. It's not a financial term here.
No, not at all. Life equity is your finite pool of energy, time, and attention. It's your most valuable, non-renewable resource. And the mandate is this. When you pick an item up, you never, ever put it down for now.
Oh, I am so guilty of this.
We all are. For now is a lie. For now is how piles are born.
Okay, give me a real-world example. I do this constantly. I check the mail, I see a bill I don't want to deal with right this second, so I put it on the kitchen counter for now.
Okay, Perfect example. Let's do the cost analysis of that one simple action. You walked to the mailbox. You picked up the mail. You walked back inside. You picked up that specific envelope. You look at it, identified it as a bill. That's touch one.
Right.
Then you put it on the counter. Later, maybe that night or tomorrow, you see the pile, you sigh, and you have to pick it up again. That's touch two. You have to re-identify it. Oh yeah, the electric bill. You have to exert the mental energy to decide what to do with it all over again.
I never thought of it that way. I've doubled the workload.
For the exact same outcome. The source argues that every time you touch an object to move it without actually solving it, without filing it, trashing it, or putting it in its permanent home, you are burning calories, you are burning life equity for zero result. You're just shuffling dead around.
So the rule is, if my hand touches it, I have to complete the cycle.
Correct. You either put it away where it lives, or you kill it. You trash it or recycle it. There is no limbo. Limbo is the breeding ground for clutter.
But, okay, that assumes I know whether I want to keep it or not. That's where the hesitation comes from. The classic, what if I need this someday?
And that fear, that hesitation, is precisely what Protocol 2 is designed to eliminate. This is the 90-90 rule. This is how you take the emotion out of the decision and turn it into a simple algorithm.
I like algorithms. They're simple. What is it?
You look at the item in your hand, and you ask two simple objective questions. One, have you used it in the last 90 days?
90 days, so 3 months.
3 months. And question two, will you realistically use it in the next 90 days?
And if the answer is no to both?
Then it is dead weight. It has no claim on your present or your immediate future.
And it goes.
It leaves the house, sell, donate, trash, whatever, but it's gone.
Wait. Does that apply to absolutely everything? I'm thinking about seasonal gear. I'm not using my heavy winter coat in July. That fails the first part of the test.
Right, and that's a fair point. The protocol has logical exceptions for specific defined seasonal categories. Your winter coat, your skis, your holiday decoration. Those are exempt. The same goes for critical legal documents or, true irreplaceable family heirlooms.
Okay, so we're not throwing out our passports.
No. But we are talking about the vast majority of stuff. That kitchen gadget you bought on a whim. That weird VGA cable in a drawer full of HDMI. That shirt you kind of like but never actually wear. For all of that stuff, if it's a no and a no, it leaves.
It's ruthless. It just cuts through that fantasy of, well, I might take up watercolor painting again one day, so I should keep these 10-year-old dried-up paints.
Exactly. Your house is not a storage unit for your past selves or for your imaginary future selves. It's the operational headquarters for the person you are right now.
That's a powerful way to put it. Okay, so we have touch it once, and we have the 90-90 rule to make the once decision easier. What's Protocol 3?
Protocol 3 is surface tension.
Surface tension, okay.
This deals with the primary magnets for clutter in any home. Tables, desks, countertops, any flat surface. And the rule here is about defining the function of that surface. Flat surfaces are for activity, not for storage.
Oof, that one hits hard. But practically speaking, you walk in the door, you have your keys, your mail, maybe a coffee cup. The kitchen counter is right there. It feels like it's begging to be covered.
It is begging to be covered. It's the path of least resistance. And that is exactly why you have to defend them violently. That's the actual language the source uses.
Violently? That sounds a little extreme.
Think about the friction of starting a task. If you want to sit down and cook dinner, but the counter is covered in mail, old newspapers, and appliances you don't use, you now have a barrier to entry. You have to clean before you can cook.
So you just order a pizza instead?
Exactly. If you want to work, but your desk is covered in old cuts and piles of paper, you have a barrier. A cluttered table repels work. A clear table invites it and says, come here, create something. You defend the surface so you can use it for its intended purpose. Action.
Okay, this is a great framework. Touch it once, 90-90, and surface tension. We have the mental software installed. Now let's move into the physical world. The outline says we're going zone by zone, starting with zone 1, the bedroom.
The regeneration station.
Regeneration station, I like that.
The source is very, very strict on this. It says the bedroom has only two primary functions: sleep and sex.
That's it. That seems a bit restrictive. What about reading? Or, watching TV to wind down?
Reading a physical book is fine. That's generally seen as part of the wind-down ritual. But screens, exercise equipment, a desk, absolutely not.
Why not? My treadmill is in my bedroom.
If your Peloton or your treadmill is looming over you while you try to sleep, you're sending a mixed signal to your brain. It's a machine for work and stress in your zone for rest and recovery. If you're answering work emails in bed, you are confusing the context of the room. You're degrading the quality of your sleep, of your regeneration.
So the room's purpose needs to be singular.
As much as possible, yes.
Yeah.
It's about creating psychological cues. When you enter this room, your body knows it's time to shut down, not ramp up.
Let's talk about the anchor of this room then, the bed.
The hard truth is, if the bed is messy, the room is messy. Full stop.
Even if everything else is tidy.
Yes. Because the bed occupies the largest visual square footage in the space. If it's a chaotic mess of blankets and pillows, your brain registers the entire environment as chaos. Making your bed every morning is a 2-minute investment that pays dividends all day.
Okay, so the bed is the anchor, but what about under the bed? The source gets into the nitty-gritty here. Under bed storage. This is usually where I just shove things I don't want to deal with.
The dust trap, that's what they call it. And it's seen as a biological hazard as much as an organizational one.
A biological hazard? Explain that.
Well, unless you are religiously pulling those items out every single month to vacuum thoroughly underneath, you are effectively sleeping on top of a massive colony of dust mites, allergens, and who knows what else. The air can't circulate properly. It just becomes a stagnant mess.
That's a horrifying image. So what's the rule for under the bed?
The rule is only store long-term sealed items there. And they must be in rolling bins with airtight seals.
What kind of items?
Luggage is a great one. Archival documents you need to keep but never look at. Maybe out-of-season clothing in a vacuum-sealed bag inside a bin. But do not just shove cardboard boxes or loose shoes under the bed.
You mentioned cardboard. The source had a warning about that too. Cardboard attracts roaches, doesn't it?
It does. It's basically wood pulp. Pests love it. It also absorbs moisture from the air, gets musty, and disintegrates over time. Cardboard has no place in permanent storage anywhere in the house, but especially not in the room where you breathe for 8 hours a night.
Okay, noted. No more cardboard under the bed. So moving from the bed to the real nightmare for most people, the closet. The source calls it the beast.
A fitting name.
And the method here, well, it calls for something dramatic sounding, subtractive manufacturing.
This is the only way to truly reset a closet. You cannot organize a closet while the clothes are still hanging in it. It's impossible. You have to perform what they call a total evacuation.
You mean literally take everything out, every hanger, every shoe.
Every single thread. Pile it all on that nice clean bed you just made. The closet must be completely empty. You vacuum the floor, you wipe down the shelves and the rod, you start with a blank canvas.
That sounds completely exhausting. I mean, is it really necessary to take it all out? Can't I just sort through the hangers one by one?
No, and the psychology behind this is fascinating. It's called the endowment effect.
Okay.
When you touch an item that is already hanging in your closet, in its home, your brain defaults to keeping it. It's already there, it's easier to leave it. But by taking it all out and putting it in a neutral zone like the bed, you break that attachment. You force yourself to make a conscious decision to put it back.
Ah, so you changed the default setting.
Exactly. The default changes from keep to audit. Every item has to earn its place back on the rod.
And then comes the sorting, the big pile on the bed. This is where I usually get stuck. And the source highlights a specific psychological trap here, and I love the name. The skinny clothes delusion.
This one hurts because we all do it. Every single one of us. We all have those genes from 5 years ago, maybe 10 years ago.
The goal genes.
The goal genes. We keep them because we tell ourselves they are motivation. When I lose 10 pounds, I'll wear these. It feels virtuous to keep them.
And the source says that's actually backfiring on us.
It argues that these clothes are not motivation. They're a form of psychological torment. Every single morning, you open your closet and you see a pair of jeans that you can't button. You are subliminally bullying yourself before you've even had coffee.
You're starting your day with a reminder of a failure.
A perceived failure. You're making your present self feel bad in service of a hypothetical future self.
So what do? We just get rid of them.
You get rid of them, donate them, let someone who fits into them now enjoy them. And here's the reframing. If and when you do lose the weight, you deserve new clothes. You deserve to go out and celebrate that new version of yourself, not squeeze into a dusty relic from a decade ago.
I really like that. It's about rewarding yourself, not punishing yourself. Okay, so we're sorting into piles. Keep, repair, donate, trash.
Yeah.
Then we rebuild. The source is very specific about how we hang things back up. It talks about creating visual silence.
Visual silence. This is a game changer. Think about what most closets look like. You have a wire hanger from the dry cleaner.
Yeah.
Next to a big, chunky, tubular plastic one, next to a nice wooden one. Your eyes just bouncing around between shapes and colors.
Mm.
It looks chaotic, even if the clothes themselves are organized.
So the solution is to buy matching hangers.
Yes, but specifically, bulk slim velvet hangers,
Yeah.
all in one neutral color, like black or gray.
Okay, why velvet? Is that just an aesthetic thing or is there a function?
There are two major functional reasons. One, they are non-slip. Your silky shirts, your wide neck tops, they don't end up in a puddle on the closet floor.
That's a big one.
And two, they are significantly thinner than wood or plastic hangers. The sources claim you can save about 30% of your rod space just by switching the hangers.
30%, that's huge.
It's massive.
Mm-hmm.
But the main benefit is that it quiets all that visual noise. When you look in your closet, you see the clothes, not the hardware holding them up.
And then we organize them on the rod. There's a system for that too, right? Left to right.
Yes, you create a logical flow, heavy coats on the far left, then moving down in weight and type to blazers, button-up shirts, polos, t-shirts, and finally pants on the right. It creates a hierarchy.
So you're not hunting for things.
You reduce decision fatigue in the morning because your brain knows exactly where the white button-up shirt section is. You're not scanning the entire closet.
Now, there's a trick in here called the backward hanger audit. I've heard of this before, but I'm skeptical. Does it actually work?
It's the ultimate reality check for closet hoarders. It's brutally honest. When you rehang all your keep clothes, you hang every single hanger backward on the rod with the hook facing out toward you.
Okay, so they're all facing the wrong way.
Correct. Then you just live your life. When you wear an item, and after you wash it, you hang it back up the correct way with the hook facing in.
I see where this is going.
After 6 months, or maybe a year if you want to be generous, you look at your closet. Any hanger that is still facing backward is an item you have not touched in that entire time.
And the rule is?
Get rid of it.
Yeah.
You have objective, physical proof that you do not wear it. You can't argue with the hanger. The hanger doesn't care about your feelings or your what-ifs.
Brutal, but effective. I like it. Now that's the hanging stuff. We have to talk about drawers because the source advocates for something called file folding.
This changes everything for t-shirts, gym clothes, pajamas, everything.
How does it work?
Most people stack t-shirts like pancakes in a drawer, one on top of the other. The problem is you only ever see and wear the top 3 shirts in the stack.
And the ones at the bottom get crushed and forgotten.
And if you do want one at the very bottom, you have to pull the whole stack out and destroy it to get that one shirt.
Right.
Exactly. With file folding, you fold the item into a small, stable rectangle that stands up on its edge. Then you place them in the drawer in rows, like files in a filing cabinet.
So you can see every single shirt at once.
Every single one. Nothing gets hidden at the bottom. You just pull out the one you want, and the rest stay perfectly organized.
That's genius. But speaking of drawers, we have to address what the source calls the sock truth. This might be the most radical suggestion in the entire deep dive.
It is radical efficiency. It's a bit controversial, but it's brilliant. Step 1 is simple. Go through your sock drawer and throw away all the orphan socks. If the match is gone, it's a rag. It's dead.
Okay, I can do that. But step 2 is where people resist. The source suggests you stop matching socks entirely.
You make matching obsolete.
How? By buying only one type of sock.
Exactly. The protocol is this. Buy 20 pairs of the exact same high-quality black sock and 20 pairs of the exact same high-quality white or athletic sock. Throw everything else away.
So you just have 2 giant piles of identical socks.
And you will never spend another second of your life pairing socks after they come out of the laundry. You just grab any 2 black ones and they match. Any 2 white ones and they match. Think of the cumulative hours you will save over a lifetime.
But what about fun socks? You know, patterns, colors. I like my fun socks.
The purists would say get rid of them.
A more moderate approach is you can keep a small, contained fun sock reserve for special occasions. But for the 95% of your daily life, why are you wasting cognitive load-matching patterns that are hidden inside your shoes all day? It's about simplifying the supply chain of your life.
Simplify the supply chain. I love that. Okay, we've regenerated. We've conquered the bedroom. Let's move to zone 2. The office and digital hygiene. The command center.
Right. The philosophy here shifts slightly. The bedroom was about rest and recovery. The office is about focus and output. The source describes the ideal desk as a cockpit, not a storage unit.
So we're back to the surface tension protocol we talked about earlier, clearing the surface. Yes, but even more ruthlessly. They call it the zero gravity zone.
Well,
The only items allowed to live on the desk surface are things you physically touch and use every single day to do your primary work.
so for me, that would be my monitor, my mouse, keyboard.
Maybe 1 notepad and 1 pen.
Yeah.
Your microphone. water bottle. That's about it.
What about my stapler? My tape dispenser? My mug full of 40 pens, half of which don't work?
Banned. Unless you are a person who staples paper every single day for your job, the stapler belongs in a drawer within arm's reach. And the dead pens. That's a micro failure every time you reach for one. Test them all, keep the 5 best, and trash the rest. You only need one good pen on the desk itself.
And cables. I feel like cables are the weeds of the modern office. They just grow everywhere behind the desk.
Cables are visual static. They make an otherwise clean room look messy and chaotic. The recommendation from the source is to use Velcro ties, not plastic zip ties.
Oh, that's specific. Why not zip ties? They're cheaper.
Zip ties are permanent. If you need to add or remove a device, you have to cut the zip tie, which risks cutting the actual wire. It's a pain. Velcro is modular and reusable. You bundle the cables together into a single spine that runs cleanly down the back of the desk leg.
And what about that giant power strip on the floor?
It's crucial to get that off the floor. Mount the power strip to the underside of the desk with screws or heavy-duty adhesive strips. If it's on the floor, you're going to kick the plugs, and it becomes the world's biggest magnet for dust bunnies and pet hair. Get it off the floor, up under the desk, and all the cable mess becomes invisible.
Okay, the physical desk is clean. But now we have to talk about the real enemy of modern order, paper. The source calls this paper warfare.
Paper is insidious because it never stops coming. You can't win the war, but you can manage the battlefront. You need a ruthlessly simple system, and the source recommends the RAFT system.
RAFT.
Yes, but before you can RAFT, you need a single point of entry. You must establish one physical in-box tray for your entire house.
Just one, not one for mail, one for bills, one for...
Just one. All incoming paper mail, receipts, kids' school forms, business cards, it all goes into that one tray. Nowhere else. It doesn't get scattered on the kitchen counter or the dining room table. It goes in the box.
Okay, so everything is contained. Then what?
Then once a week, no exceptions, you process that box to 0 using RAFT.
Walk us through RAFT.
R is for read. You pick up the item, you read it, and you understand what it is. Then you move immediately to the next step. A is for action. Does this piece of paper require you to do something? Pay a bill, sign a form, make a phone call. If it takes less than 2 minutes, do it right then. If it takes longer, put it on your digital to-do list and file the paper in an action folder. F is for file. This is for legal necessities only. Tax documents, property deeds, contracts, things you are legally required to keep. This should be a very, very small percentage of your paper.
And finally, T.
T is for trash, or shredding or recycling. And here's the key. 90% of what is in that box will go straight to trash.
90%.
At least. We hold on to so much paper out of a vague fear. What if I need this utility bill from 2018? You don't. And if by some 1 in a million chance you do, it's available digitally on their website.
That's so true, which leads us perfectly to the digital side of things. Digital hygiene. The source calls this invisible clutter.
Yeah, there's a quote in there I love. A clean desk with a messy computer desktop is just a hallucination of order.
That stuck with me too. It's so true.
Your computer desktop should follow the exact same rules as your physical desk. It is for active projects only. The 1 or 2 things you are working on right now, if you have 500 screenshots, old downloads, and random PDFs scattered on your desktop, you are forcing your brain to filter out all that visual noise every time you boot up your computer.
But how do I fix that without spending 3 days sorting through it all? It feels overwhelming.
The source suggests a nuclear option for getting started. You create one single folder on your desktop. You name it something like Old Desk Dump or Archive with today's date. And then you select everything on your desktop and drag it into that one folder.
Whoa, that's scary. Just dump it all in there.
It's a little scary, but it's necessary. You aren't deleting anything. The files are still there. They're still searchable, but you are instantly clearing the visual field. If you need something from the past, you can go into that folder and search for it. But you stop letting the clutter of the past interfere with the focus of your present.
It's a clean slate. I like that. And going forward, we need to stop naming files Draft 1 or Final Report, Final.
Please, for the love of all that is holy, the naming convention is key for automatic sorting. The format is simple and non-negotiable. YYYMMDD category description version.
So an example would be 2026 AO2 AO1 Finance Tax Return Draft 1.
It's exactly. Or 2026 0315 Marketing Q1 Report Final. Because computers sort alphabetically and numerically by default. If you start every file name with the date in that format, Everything will sort itself chronologically, automatically. You will never again have to wonder which version is the latest one.
That's such a simple fix. And one last digital tip from the source that I absolutely loved, the download trap.
Oh, this is a big one. Go into your browser settings right now. It probably auto-saves everything you download directly to your downloads folder.
It does, and that folder is a nightmare.
It's a digital hoarder's basement. It's a graveyard of installers and PDFs you look at once. Change the setting to Ask where to save each file before downloading.
So it prompts you every time.
Yes, it adds a microsecond of friction to the download process, but it forces you to make a decision, a filing decision, the moment you acquire the file. You save it directly to the project folder where it belongs. The downloads folder should be empty at the end of every day.
It's the touch it once rule for digital files.
That's exactly what it is. Okay, let's move out of the cockpit, out of the command center and into the common areas. The kitchen, the living room, the entryway. Let's start with the kitchen, or as the source calls it, the laboratory.
I'm guessing countertop rule applies here too, right? Surface tension.
It does. They call it the appliance rule. If you do not use that toaster every single day, it does not live on the counter. It goes in a cabinet.
Even the toaster. People use toasters.
If you use it daily, fine. But what about the blender, the stand mixer, the air fryer? Unless you are making smoothies every single morning, get it off the counter.
My counter is currently a parking lot for appliances I use maybe once a month.
Then your workspace, your laboratory, is compromised. You can't chop vegetables or prep a meal efficiently if you're constantly fighting for space with a dormant bread maker.
Point taken. And then there is the bane of every kitchen drawer, the Tupperware nightmare.
The rule here is simple and brutal. Match or die.
Match or die.
Once every 6 months, you pull every single food storage container out onto the floor. You match every container to its lid. You throw away any orphans' lids without bottoms, bottoms without lids, immediately. No mercy.
And the recommendation from the source is to switch to glass containers.
Yes. Switch to a uniform set of glass containers with locking lids.
Why glass? Plastic is so much cheaper and lighter.
3 reasons. 1, glass doesn't stain that horrible orange color from tomato sauce. 2, it doesn't hold on to smells or warp in the dishwasher. 3, you can microwave it without worrying about chemicals leaching into your food. And because high-quality sets are usually square or rectangular, they stack perfectly and don't waste corner space in your fridge or cabinets like round bowls do. It's an investment in sanity.
Makes sense. And what about the pantry? The source mentions something about inventory management, which sounds very professional for a pantry.
It's FIFO. First in, first out. This is straight from the restaurant and grocery industry. When you buy a new can of beans, you put it behind the old can of beans. You rotate your stock so nothing expires in the back.
And the source also recommends decanting dry goods.
Yes, taking things like flour, sugar, rice, pasta out of their messy, half-torn bags and putting them into containers.
Is that just to look pretty on a shelf?
It can look nice, but the primary function is data. When you look at a cardboard box of cereal, you don't know if it's full or if there's just one sad, crushed flake left until you pick it up and shake it. Clear containers are a visual inventory system. You can see your levels at a glance and know exactly what you need to buy.
Okay, that's the kitchen. Moving to the living room. Let's talk about the remote control situation.
If you have 4 or 5 remotes on your coffee table, you are living in the past. It's just visual clutter.
So what's the fix?
A simple one is to get a small, elegant tray and use Velcro dots to stick the remotes to the tray. At least they're contained. The better solution is to invest $30 in a universal remote that can control everything. One remote to rule them all.
And magazines. I have a pile of magazines I swear I'm going to read.
The source is ruthless about magazines. They are perishable information. You keep the current month's issue. As soon as the new one arrives, the old one goes in the recycling. You are never going to go back and reread that National Geographic from 2018.
It's performative, isn't it?
Okay.
I'm keeping it to look like the kind of person who reads it more than actually reading it.
That's what a lot of our clutter is. It's an aspirational identity that we're storing.
Ouch. Okay, this next one is huge. The entryway. The source calls this the airlock. I love this concept.
It's maybe the most critical zone in the house. It's the filter between the chaos of the outside world and the sanctuary of your home. If the airlock fails, the contamination spreads.
What contamination? Dirt, junk mail.
All of it. This is where you stop the clutter before it can even enter the main living space.
So let's start with shoes. The pile of shoes by the door.
You need a vertical shoe rack, not a mat where they all pile up. And the rule is strict. Only 3 pairs of shoes per person are allowed to live in the entryway. your daily drivers.
And the rest.
The rest go to their real home in the closet. The entryway is a quick-access docking station, not a long-term parking garage.
What about for guests?
The source suggests keeping 2 pairs of generic washable slippers near the door. It's a welcoming gesture, but it also silently signals the shoes-off rule without you having to be the nagging host. It sets a standard of behavior for your home.
Clever. And mail. This is where the junk mail dies, right? At the door.
The mail triage. This is non-negotiable. You place a recycling bin outside your front door, or if that's not possible, immediately inside it. You sort your mail while standing up, right there.
So the junk mail never even makes it to the desk or the kitchen counter.
It dies at the door. Its life inside your home is measured in seconds.
And keys. Wallet.
A specific small bowl. They call it the drop zone, and the key word is small. If the bowl is too big, it will become a trash can for old receipts, gum wrappers, and loose change. It must be just big enough for your keys and wallet. That's it.
Okay, we're moving into the deep parts of the house now. Section 5, deep storage, mobile units, and safety. Let's talk about the final frontier of clutter. The garage. The warehouse.
The biggest mistake people make in the garage is treating it as one giant, undifferentiated pile. You can't find anything because there's no system. You need zoning.
Zoning, like a city.
Exactly. Zone A, near the door to the house, is for daily access items. Recycling bins, dog food, bulk paper towels. Zone B is for seasonal items, camping gear, holiday decorations. Zone C is the deep archives, old files, things you rarely need.
And we have to get rid of the cardboard boxes in the garage.
Please, it's a buffet for pests and a sponge for moisture. You need to standardize. They call it the bin standard.
The DIN standard.
You go out and you buy 20 to 30 identical, high-quality tote bins. Clear plastic with strong latching lids is best.
Uniformity again. Why is that so important?
Uniformity is stackability. If you have a round bin, a square bin, and a weird tapered bin, they're going to be unstable when you stack them. Identical bins create solid, stable towers of storage.
And there's a pro tip in the source about labeling these bins.
A crucial one. Label the sides, not the tops.
Why?
Because when you stack those bins 6 feet high, you can't see the top label. You need to be able to see the label on the side so you don't have to unstack the entire tower just to find the Christmas lights. And use index cards in a clear sleeve so you can change the label easily.
So smart. Let's talk about another storage area we don't think about.
Yeah.
The car. The source calls it a mobile unit. And there is one rule in here that I think could change my life. The trash rule.
Every car needs a dedicated leak-proof trash receptacle, not a plastic grocery bag hanging off the gear shift. And the protocol is simple. Gas station stop equals trash empty stop.
Oh, I like that.
Every time you fill up your tank, you empty the car's trash bin.
Yeah.
It ties the maintenance habit to a habit you already have. It becomes automatic.
And the trunk? Mine is full of stuff.
The trunk should be 70% empty at all times. The purpose of a trunk is for hauling things, groceries, luggage, a new bookshelf. It is not a mobile storage unit. Use a small collapsible organizer for the essentials, jumper cables, first aid kit, blanket, and keep the rest clear and ready for action.
Speaking of first aid and essentials, we need to touch on something the source calls the safety net. Emergency preparedness. This goes beyond just being tidy. It's about being safe.
This is where organization can literally save your life. It's risk management. When a disaster strikes, a fire, a flood, a sudden medical emergency, you do not have the time or the mental clarity to search for your passport or your insurance papers.
So we need an ICE binder.
In case of emergency, it should be a bright red binder or a securely encrypted digital file that your next of kin has the password to. It contains copies of your passports, birth certificates, social security cards, insurance policies, wills, bank account lists, passwords. This is the operating manual for your life. If you're incapacitated, can your family run your life? This binder lets them.
And a go bag.
A go bag. Ready for a 5-minute evacuation, it sits in your entryway closet or in the garage. Cash in small bills, a spare set of house and car keys, digital copies of your documents on a USB drive, water, N95 masks, a first aid kit. It's peace of mind in a backpack.
This is a heavy topic, but so important. And now we get to what might be the trickiest stuff of all. The stuff that hits us right in the feelings. Section 6. The emotional archive. Sentimental items.
This is where pure logic often breaks down. We don't keep these things because they're useful. We keep them because we fear that if we let go of the object, we'll let go of the memory.
So how do we handle it without feeling like we're trashing our own history?
The limit container strategy. This is brilliant. You assign one specific container, a single bin for memories, a 60-quart tote, for example. That is your memory box. You can keep whatever you want as long as it fits in that bin.
And if it gets full and I find a new thing I want to keep?
Then one item must leave to make room for the new one. It forces you to curate your own history. It forces you to prioritize what is actually meaningful. If everything is special, then nothing is special.
The source has a specific and kind of controversial rule for kids' art, and as a parent, I am absolutely drowning in doodles and paintings.
You cannot keep every doodle. It's not sustainable. The rule is you keep the portfolio pieces.
The what?
The portfolio pieces, the best of the best, the top 5 from each year. You photograph the rest, put them in a digital photo book you can actually look at, and you let the originals go.
That sounds so harsh, trashing my kids' art.
Let's reframe it. What the child wanted in the moment they made it was your attention and praise, not a permanent museum exhibit in the garage. The memory and the art are preserved perfectly in the photograph. And honestly, your adult children do not want you to hand them 50 boxes of their kindergarten drawings in 30 years. They will throw them away. Save them the guilt and do it now.
That's a really good point. And what about heirlooms? Grandma's china, that ugly vase Aunt Edna gave you for your wedding.
The heirloom filter. This is a powerful question. You hold the item and ask yourself, if I wasn't related to the person who gave this to me and I saw it in a thrift store, would I buy this?
And if the answer is no,
then what you're holding is obligation, not love. It's guilt in the shape of a vase. Take a beautiful photo of it, write a note about its history and who gave it to you, save that in your digital archive, and then donate the object. Let someone who would genuinely buy it in a thrift store enjoy it.
and if the answer is yes, if I would actually buy it.
Then use it. Honor the object and the memory by bringing it into your life. Don't let grandma's beautiful china rot in a dusty box in the basement. Use it on a Tuesday. Eat pizza off the fine china. If it breaks, it breaks. Better for it to break from being used and loved than to sit in the dark for 40 years serving no one.
Eat pizza off the fine china. I love that. It's about respecting the object by giving it a life. Okay, this is amazing. We have the systems. But systems can fail without maintenance. Section 7 is the protocols of permanence, how to make it stick.
This is the most important part. Because organizing is an event. Staying organized is a habit.
It starts with something small, the daily reset.
10 minutes.
Yeah.
Every single night before you go to bed. You do a quick sweep of the main living areas and reset the room to ready state.
What's a ready state?
Dishes go in the dishwasher, remote controls go back in their tray, pillows are fluffed on the couch, clothes are put in the hamper. You're closing out the day.
Why before bed? Why not just do it in the morning?
Because waking up and walking into a clean, reset room sets a positive, proactive tone for your entire day. Walking into yesterday's mess means you start the day with a debt. You are already behind. You want to wake up to a blank canvas, not a battlefield.
Okay, that's daily. Then there's the weekly protocol. The source calls it the Sunday Summit.
30 minutes on a Sunday afternoon or evening. You clear your paper inbox to 0 using RAFT. You clear the fridge of old leftovers. You plan your laundry for the week. It's a system reset that prevents entropy from building up and overwhelming you during the busy week.
And then there's the perpetual rule, the one in, one out rule. This is how we stop the clutter from creeping back in.
Once you've gone through this whole process and you're organized, you are at capacity. Your home is full. So if you buy a new pair of shoes, an old pair has to leave. If you buy a new book, an old book gets donated. You never need to buy more storage. You are simply practicing equilibrium.
And finally, the source recommends a biannual audit.
Yeah, just twice a year. Put it on your calendar, June 1st and December 1st. You do a quick check of the closet using the backward hanger trick. You check expiration dates on medicines and pantry items. You move old digital files from your active folders to a deep archive. It's a 6-month system checkup.
So we've covered a massive amount of ground, from the brutal truth about for now piles to the sock truth, all the way to the icy binder. It feels like a lot to take in at once.
It is a lot. It's a complete paradigm shift.
Yeah.
But if it feels overwhelming, just remember the core philosophy: subtraction.
Right. It's not about adding complex new systems and labels and binders. It's about taking things away.
You subtract the excess stuff. You subtract the extra steps in a process. You subtract the visual noise. And most importantly, you subtract the decision fatigue that drains your energy every day.
And the goal isn't just to have a pretty house that looks good on social media.
No, that's a side effect. The goal is to be ready.
Ready for what?
Ready to work because your desk is clear. Ready to rest because your bedroom is a sanctuary. Ready to leave in an emergency because your go bag is packed. Ready to live because you're not bogged down by the weight of your possessions. It's about reclaiming your agency. When you control your environment, you have so much more control over your life.
So what does this all mean for you listening right now? It means you have a choice. You can keep shuffling the same piles around for the next 10 years, or you can start to unclog the machine.
And you don't have to do it all at once. If you try, you will burn out and give up. The key is to start small.
Okay, so what's the call to action today? If someone is going to do just one thing after listening to this, where should they start?
Start with the entryway. Take 5 minutes and clear the shoe pile. Just put them in the closet where they belong. That's it. Or go to your car and take out that bag of trash. Just do one tiny thing that stops the bleeding and proves to yourself that you can change your environment, build momentum.
And remember, the system serves you, you don't serve the system. If a rule feels too complicated or requires too much maintenance, simplify it. Choose the freedom of a clear space.
Absolutely. The pain of letting go of an object lasts for about 45 seconds. The freedom of not having to manage it lasts forever.
I think I'm going to go throw away some socks. Thanks for diving in with us on this.
Anytime. It was great.
And here's a final thought for you to chew on. If your house caught on fire and all the people and pets were safe, what is the one inanimate object you would actually risk running back in to save? Whatever that thing is, treat it with the honor and respect it deserves. Everything else, it's just stuff. We'll see you next time.